KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Welcome to KUAM Sports, everybody. We talk about not only Guam's achievements on the court, on the field, also in the classroom. And that's one of the major ambitions of a series of assessment camps, some combines. Coach Jacob Dowdell, he's the head football coach for the Guam High Panthers. And he is being joined today by two gentlemen who not only are training you to be at your very best, but also get your body right, get your mind right. And Coach Dowdell, I'd like to start with you because the one thing that you've always emphasized in all the years that I've been interviewing you, and very proudly to do so, is you're like, the game of football is a wonderful game. It creates opportunities. It gives you wonderful things that benefit your life, but you got to get your priorities straight. And it's always faith, family, and football in that order.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And this is a wonderful opportunity. And we have two coaches who are grounded in faith, right? And Coach Diaz and Coach Ike, who are going to come alongside the wonderful folks here on Guam and give these kids an opportunity. That's all it is, right? We're going to give them an opportunity that's grounded in faith and in academics. Mm-hmm. So, these two guys, I'm super excited. I know them very well. I'm very proud that I can now pronounce Coach Ike's name correctly, so he won't be on me so much. And so December is a great time for us. And I'm also just so happy, man, to have this happen when we're honoring Dante Baines and his legacy. And so to have two men of faith who are going to be coming to help our young folks and then honoring Dante all at the same time. I mean, God's timing is perfect.
Absolutely. So let's talk to Coach John Diaz right now. So, and Coach, you've obviously got strong ties to Guam. You've still got, the Chamorro spirit and, the essence of Hafide and Inafamalik, like in everything you do. So you can absolutely qualify, the work ethic of Guamanian athletes and, the humility. But when it comes to assessing them and trying to get these athletes ready to not only be their very best right now, but hopefully to get them to perform at the next level, what do you look for and what advice do you give?
I think the biggest thing I try to look for is I look for one, work ethic, because I think work ethic, there's no substitute for that. I look for guys that they love what they do and they're passionate about it, because when they love something and they're passionate about it, they're going to give it everything they have. And when you play at the next level where I coach at, it's really difficult for high school kids to come into this setting and be successful because they don't understand the true meaning of work ethic. They don't understand what it is to have passion for something. They may like it and it may make them feel good, but when the grind hits them, they don't know how to deal with the adversity. So I'm looking for guys that are mentally tough. I'm looking for guys that have high character, and I don't have to chase them around to do things that they need to get done if they want to be a next level type player. And then I look for kids that I can develop, that are coachable, that give me the opportunity to help them be their best version of themselves. But the only way that we could do that is if they begin to trust us and they begin to open up their minds to see what if I give that. And the kids that I've been able to work with from Guam, it's been exciting to be able to see them and see their successes here in the mainland so that they can take what they did back on Guam and now apply it here and be able to see success. And then now we all get to rejoice in their successes because we all got to partake in a little bit. And I think that's what it's all about. And I'm a firm believer of giving back. And my big thing is giving back to the island as much as possible so that I can continue my roots back there and help as many of those kids and families have the opportunities that I've been afforded being here in the state.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay, Coach Chad Ike is here too. And Coach Chad, you've been a mainstay on Guam and you made many appearances here, helping athletes right now. And I believe last time I interviewed you, you said, I can teach, any athlete to at some point, develop muscle groups and, run like the wind, do a standing jump over the Statue of Liberty and everything like that. It's also having the ability to recognize how to compete and having that mental toughness that Coach John was just talking about. So maybe touch on that is, like the combination of being physically ready, but then also mentally strong.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much that a physical body can accomplish the strongest muscle in our body is our brain, they say, right? So, just changing the mindset and understanding that it's a cultural shift from the old philosophies of long time ago that, Guam athletes, they need to go across the Pacific and go to the mainland in order for them to succeed. But, DeAndre Cruz is a good example that it can be done. But it takes an extremely amount of effort and more than a lot of the kids are exposed to and the families are exposed to as well. And so it's one of those just things that's very just important for them to understand that, in order for them to succeed and reach those possibilities that seem impossible, it starts with, their focus from their mindset and living that mindset from the moment they decide that they want to go and pursue playing a certain sport till the game's finally over from their last play.
And thank you for bringing up DeAndre Cruz, coach, because I remember when we covered him when he was still in high school. I mean, we thought he was an absolute beast back then. And then when he came back and he got a chance to play, college ball, changing positions, changing from offense to defense, and he goes, it really is a different way of looking at things and having a different perspective, because now you've got the game within the game, and there's the strategy and there's conserving your energy, and you don't have, you want to play at a high level, but you don't necessarily have to expend all of your energy on one play. And it really is like a philosophical thing.
Oh, absolutely. And DeAndre started when he was met him in the 8th grade and 9th grade summer. He bought into it and he never looked back. And it came from his home environment, his mom and his grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles who supported him and pushed him. He could have been at home in Guam over the summers enjoying, the island life, but he chose to come out to Hawaii and grind and work and be away from home and sleep on the couch and the floor and do what he needed to do over that time. And that's what it takes. What athletes willing to do that are the athletes that are going to be willing to succeed in the future.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go back to Coach Jacob Dowdell now. And I mean, we've talked now about with these, inspiring message from these two learned coaches. But Coach Dowdell, we can get you ready mentally, we can get you ready physically, we can teach you about, again, the nature of competition. But what you're also doing at these camps and these combines is looking for specific skills, and you're assessing athletes doing specific things. So what should people who want to consider participating in this, how should they get ready, and what are you going to be looking for?
Main thing, take care of your body, right? Nutrition plays a big part in it. We have a combine on the 12th of October. Coach Harmon will be at that one. And then these two gentlemen, they're going to be coming in mid-December. We're looking right around the 12th, 13th, 14th for their actual combine. So you got a couple of months, right? You got this one in October to get you started, kind of give you a gauge. And then we're going to give you November to get you rest of October and November. And then these guys are coming in like rock stars, that they are in one, motivation, two, drive and determination. And then third, but most important to me, is to help kids understand the truth of being at the next level. So for those guys who are and looking at coming out, get your cardio right, and get yourself into a gym, get your eating right, let the red rice go for a little while. It'll be there.
You can do it. It can be done.
It can be done. And get your nutrition plan. There are a lot of folks here on Guam who are willing to help us, help young folks, but it takes commitment. And so we're going to run the 40 time. They'll have the 40 time. We're going to give them the shuttle drills, the L drill, and we're going to do some position drills. So it's going to be open to all positions, not just our skilled guys, because that's what we produce a lot here in Guam, just because of the size. But there are some bigger guys. And we've done camps before where we were able to get some big guys some looks. But this time to have both these coaches here, man, it's going to be great. So December is going to be a great time for these young folks. But don't overlook October to give yourself a benchmark of where you need to be.
Okay, so Coach D as well, what's typically your first message when, you see all of the participants, they're all lining up. Some of them are, probably a little bit on the nervous side or just have, anxiety. Other guys are like, too cool to care. That's what happens when you deal with like young people, right? But looking out at the crowd, what typically are your first words to them as far as, what they're about to experience, the training they're about to go through, and then the message you're trying to get across to them?
I think the biggest thing is that what we're looking for is effort. You know, we want them to learn how to compete. When they're doing these drills, it's all competitive, but sometimes you're not going to do things against other people. So in these particular tests are individual tests. So they got to learn to compete against themselves and push themselves. So as Coach Dowdell talked about is in October, they would have an opportunity to prepare themselves. But if they didn't do anything and they're coming in December, our biggest things, if it's your very first time doing something, first, make sure that you're well stretched out and that you're prepared mentally to go through some things. I see a lot of kids when they go through combines is they pull muscles on a regular basis because a lot of them aren't in shape. So I think the biggest thing is teaching them how to give their very best effort out there, learn how to finish. No matter what you do, run through the line. Show the coach that when you do a drill, that you do it at your top level. You give it 110%, because a lot of it's about that effort, that mindset that we're talking about, the ability to press through adversity, and then to know that this is going to give them an opportunity to gauge where they are at and then be able to help them have a basis of how they need to get better so they actually have an opportunity to see where they stand compared to college athletes, where they're at, and then how they can better themselves and ask for assistance on how to get to that next level. And so we, you know, a lot of times in college, it's about height, weight, speed, and those are the measurables that people mostly look at. But when all that stuff's going away, they still got to be able to play. They still got to be able to get up there and be ready to bang. So yep. I love these tests because it gives us a standardized opportunity to gauge their athleticism and their ability to be an athlete. But I like the guys that are going to finish, do all those things, because I want to see, do they have that Metgut Chamorro in them? Are they, you know, are they strong? Are they physically and mentally strong? Because when you get in the trenches, when you go against a guy that's 5 times better than you, do you just quit? Or do you say, man, I got to work harder? And that's a lot of these kids that come from Guam. It's just the ultimate shock to them the very first time.
That's your athletic integrity right there. That's really who you are. If you do, if you go the extra mile when the coach's head is turned and he can't see you and you're still giving 110%, that says all.
100%. Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, Coach EK, I'd like your perspective on this. So, you know, when you're dealing with young athletes, and you know your mission and the work that you've been able to do is getting people to go beyond what they think they're capable of. So, how do you actually instill the confidence in people, you know, when they're hurting, when they're tired, when they're having like that little you know, you got the angel on one side, the devil on one side, and he's saying, nah, just quit. You know, it's easier if you just, you know, fold it in. How do you actually get them to dig deep and reach within themselves and accomplish something that they didn't think was possible?
Well, I mean, you know, effort is a learned thing. So I believe everybody can learn how to work. But then it comes down to discipline, you know, and how disciplined they are. And a lot of people will work hard once and then think that, oh yeah, I worked hard enough. So it's kind of just about educating these young athletes, and especially the families, that it's not once, it's a consistency over time, you know, and that's a big part of it. So, you know, they're not going to see success right out of the gates, and they have to understand that. They have to, what we consider, embrace the grind, embrace the opportunity that they're going to give themselves over time through the evolution of their hard work, their consistency, their understanding of the game, and most importantly, obviously, is their classroom work, right? Staying ahead and keeping their grades up so they can get into college. So it's really just kind of teaching them and encouraging them that, you know, they can do it. And it has to be consistent through all facets, from top down, from the home to the field and the coaches, and then most importantly to the athlete's self-belief. And that's what I consider, you know, keeping your circle really small and understanding that, you know, it's in order to be great, you got to be different, and you got to be alone at times. And are you willing to be alone at times when everybody else wants to just go and have fun? And the great ones understand that. The great ones know that it's a lonely road up top, but when you're at the top, you know, you've accomplished something that 1% of the 1% have achieved, right? Like a Michael Jordan, you know, Kobe Bryant, a Tom Brady, you know. So that's kind of the thing that these young athletes, and I can't stress enough the importance of the family, especially in Guam, the strength of our culture there, the family, the bonds, and the importance of it. If the family doesn't understand that and the family can embrace the grind with the child, success is going to be a lot tougher challenge for that individual. But if they embrace it as a family and they support them, and then they hold their children accountable once they make that commitment, then the road is simple. You know, work hard, be consistent, and that's it. It's a simple thing, but it's not easy.
Absolutely, man. Wise words from some very, very, very wise man. Guys, I'm ready to go, man. Give me some pads. I'm ready to train. Well, see, the only problem is I'm so skinny. I could like hit the tackling dummy, and the tackling dummy would laugh at me, and the tackling dummy would win. this is why we leave it to the top flight athletes. I like to end with Coach Dowdell. So, Coach, obviously some very, very amazing opportunities here, and some wisdom, some life lessons that are going to be passed down. How can parents and athletes who would like to participate in this amazing experience, how can they register?
All right, so a big shout out to the folks at Game Time. Right? Game Time is an organization that's focused on suicide prevention in teenagers here on the island of Guam. And so that's how we were able to pull together Game Time, W5, and the folks at Soldier for Life, and of course my company 671 Recruiting. We all came together. You know, it's just been my mission to help all the kids of Guam to get these opportunities. And so I'm just super excited. I'll send out the link for the sign up for the kids. They can get in contact with us, and the waiver forms, we'll have all the waiver forms for them and everything. And we'll have the locations. Right now, we're trying to work out the best possible location for all of our folks for all the camps. And so as we go, we'll stay in contact with you guys, and we'll keep getting the word out. But again, man, Game Time, Coach Chad, and Coach Diaz, guys coming together for an amazing holiday camp for the kids here on Guam.
Absolutely. So have a little bit of turkey, because, you know, protein is good, young athletes and everything like that. But like Coach Dowdell, Coach Diaz, and Coach Ike said, you know, get your nutrition right, because they are really going to work you out. And more importantly, they're going to give you the tools to be successful. You got to put in the work. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you very much for improving our community through athletics.
Appreciate it, man. God bless you guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.